Hello, everyone. I'm Thomas Viola, and welcome on in. I'm here today to talk to you about the GoldSheet Power Rankings for the NFL. We are 2 weeks through the season already here. The time is just flying by, and the GoldSheet's got Power Rankings updated and ready to go for Week 3 of NFL action. And we are going to be here today looking over the risers and the fallers through this early season slate. We've had a small sample size here, only 2 games, but some teams are starting to show us maybe who they are. And one of those teams is the Green Bay Packers. They looked absolutely phenomenal through 2 weeks of action so far. And the scary thing is, they're probably going to continue to get better. They've looked unstoppable, and that's with Micah Parsons only playing on a limited snap count. He's going to continue to get into game shape as he recovers from injury. And the Green Bay acquisition from Dallas in that blockbuster trade before the season got going, he is going to be a massive difference maker and only continue to improve for a Green Bay defense that has already looked quite darn good. They were also missing 2 offensive linemen last week. Didn't matter. They still got the win over the Washington Commanders and looked good doing it. And their win over Detroit, who, quite frankly, the Lions, they looked good against the Bears, who we're going to talk about later on in this video. That just looks even more impressive now. Through 2 weeks here, this team is rolling. Another team that is looking dang good to start the season is the Indianapolis Colts. Who would have seen it with Indiana Jones, Daniel Jones coming over from the Giants, beating out Anthony Richardson, who also did get hurt in the preseason there, but Daniel Jones gets that starting job, and he has looked to be the real deal through 2 weeks, even though maybe the competition level not quite up to snuff in week 1 with Miami. Week 2 versus Denver, much more impressive to do that. He's third in EPA per play, third in offensive success rate, and second in passing success rate so far this season. Through 2 games, the Colts have yet to punt the football this season. A phenomenal stat for them. They generated 473 yards and 29 points against a Denver defense that was best in the league last season. Now, another important thing to keep in mind, defensive performance year over year, very volatile in the NFL. Just because the defense was really, really good last year doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to continue to be that good this year. So maybe we still need to see more out of Indy, like we need to see a little bit more out of Denver. Because yes, it's a small sample size, which we've said plenty of times, and we're going to say plenty more before I end this video. But through 2 games, you played a dumpster fire in Miami in week 1, and this is a team that you definitely want to at least be watching as they take on the Titans as 4-point favorites this week in that divisional matchup. The third big team on our risers for this week, it is going to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, because Baker Mayfield, he's been looking like a franchise quarterback here for Tampa so far in his tenure there. But it was the defense that really stood out this week against the Texans. They held C.J. Stroud in that Houston offense to 266 yards. And this team, while they have a great set of offensive weapons, I mean, we see it with their new receiver, Egbuka. We still haven't seen Chris Godwin come back. They're going to be a very nasty team to deal with, but the defense is there to pick up the slack when they need to. They have a couple key injuries that are going to be coming down. They lost a big defensive lineman that's going to be something that they have to get over. But this week, they're a touchdown favorites against the New York Jets, who are going to be starting Tyrod Taylor at quarterback. Justin Fields out for that game with a concussion, and that game is going to be down in Tampa. Well worth watching for this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team. Have a feeling they're going to be moving up our power rankings again as we get into next week, and we're talking about the Week 4 rankings. Meanwhile, we've got some fallers here for you as well, starting off with the Chicago Bears. The Bears have not looked good so far this season. Caleb Williams has struggled in 2 games with new head coach Ben Johnson. Granted, it's his second year in the league. You've got a brand new rookie head coach. Yes, he did come over from a fantastic Lions team, but it's going to take some time for them to gel, and right now they are simply not. They're 28th in EPA per play, 31st in offensive success rate, and last in rushing success rate. They're only 1-point dogs to the Cowboys at home this week, though, which is probably telling you a lot more about what the market thinks of the Cowboys than it does about the Bears in this one. That's how I would personally interpret that. Brutal injuries to the defense have hurt as well, and they would be 1-1 right now, but a collapse to Minnesota late in Monday night in week 1, that looks even worse now, because our second biggest faller is that Minnesota Vikings team. J.J. McCarthy, he has struggled mightily early, other than that 1 fourth quarter versus Chicago in week 1. and now he's out for week 2 with an injury. They will turn to Carson Wentz in a battle of the backups versus Jake Browning and the Bengals this week. And the Vikings, it's just been tough going all the way around. The offensive line has multiple injuries. Aaron Jones now out with a hamstring injury that will sideline him for at least a few weeks. And Jordan Addison still has a couple more weeks on his suspension before he comes back and even gives this offense some weapons for who knows who the quarterback will be at this point. Who knows how long McCarthy will be out or if it will be Wentz's team moving forward. But this Vikings team definitely struggling, especially compared to last season, what they were able to do with Sam Darnold and what that offense was able to achieve. Definitely a step back year right now for the Vikings, and we'll have to see how they improve in the battle of the backups this week. Meanwhile, our final faller, it's going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers. Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers, they got a win in week 1 over the Jets late thanks to kick return mishaps. Xavier Gibson fumbles. The Steelers recovered it and were able to use that to parlay into the go-ahead score. Week 2, the exact same thing happens, but this time it's not in favor of the Steelers. Caleb Johnson has a mishap in the end zone, leads directly to a Seahawks touchdown, and really put the game out of reach for the Steelers there. And this defense, it has looked like paper mache. 27th in EPA, 26th in success rate, and 28th in passing success rate so far. And that's against Justin Fields and Sam Darnold. And we saw Justin Fields struggle in week 2 versus admittedly one of the best teams in the league in the Buffalo Bills and their fantastic defense. But it is going to be tough sledding when this Steelers team has to start playing some better opponents. Fortunately, they don't have to do that quite yet. They're slight favorites on the road versus New England this week, but that schedule is going to get tougher as the season goes on. And those are your biggest risers and fallers. If you want to check out the entire power rankings, head on over to thegoldsheet.com today. They've got plenty of stuff there for you, from free picks, from expert advice and analysis, to, of course, power rankings and plenty more to help you get an edge and make your best plays for this NFL season. That's going to do it for me here. Don't forget, like, subscribe, and share. Be sure to tell your friends, and be sure to come back next week as we'll be previewing week 4 and the new power rankings that come out with that.